So I noticed in the last episode, this is getting very old-timey, old-fashioned. So I thought I'd bring the hip and wear the dankest pink swag hat I have to be cool. And I'm also wearing a hoodie despite it being like fucking 35 degrees Celsius outside. It's fucking hot. Right, so there we go. Fam and shit, yeah? Yeah, we knocked them stars out. See? Do you now feel better at home? Now I've made it dank and hip. Yeah? Good. See how long I can keep this hood up without, like, dying slowly. We're on the last time. Girls, gather round, if you please. As the weather is particularly pleasant today, we will be taking carriages for the park for extended riding lessons. Please dress accordingly. I thought it would be the extra car. Oh, thank goodness, it's been too long. I have never greatly cared for horses. It is fashionable, and a lady should know at least the basics, but it is simply not comfortable. Are you not aware of the clothes that you're wearing? I mean, the same applies. Do you ride, Sarah? Oh, yeah, but not what you think. There, that's my dank reference. Dank. Fam. Brap, brap, brap. I would not truly say that I ride, but I have met horses and been in the saddle once or twice. Well, I'm sure you'll learn. You learn everything after all. I do try. I like riding. I wish we could go further than the park, though. It is more pleasant to be on horseback in the countryside. Oh, I agree. It is much lovelier. Imagine being on horseback, galloping across the wild moors, long hair streaming behind you like a warrior queen of old. She's going to, like, interrupt you. Riding astride like some hoyden. Even Boadicea rode a chariot. It's not how you spell Boadicea, is it? Do I just remember it wrong from when I was little? I swear it was Boudicca, or without one A. One C. Yeah, even on fucking Wikipedia, it's Boudicca. They must have just spelt it wrong back then. I mean, wait, no, we can't talk about history. Brap, 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 brap. Dizzy rascal. There, right. I think I should like a chariot. Just then, their discussions were interrupted by the sound of a wailing child. Miss Minchin was attempting to bring little Lottie together with the older girls, much to her displeasure. I won't go, I won't! What a ridiculous noise you are making. Stop that at once. Shan't! You are more than old enough to begin learning. Every student at this school is expected... I hate horses, I won't! Flinching and covering their ears with their hair, the other girls slipped away to change into a riding dress. Only Sarah remained. If you don't behave, you shall be whipped, just as a horse would be. Fuck. Whipped? It's like 4. Jeez, probably older. 5, whatever. No! To Sarah's surprise, Lottie suddenly broke free of Miss Minchin and rushed to Sarah, cowering behind her and pressing her wet face into the fabric of Sarah's dress. Is this more than just a tantrum? Yes! Miss Minchin, please, could you let me talk to her alone? Dear Sarah, you are very kind, but we simply do not have time for these shenanigans. If you can make her mind swiftly, then do so, but it must be done. Shaking her head, she walked away. Lottie wiped her grubby hands across her face. Her shrieks had quieted, but her eyes were still little fountains. Lottie, are you afraid of horses? Yes. Well, then no wonder you are upset. And we're talking about horses. I think we need to just drop in some, like, dank meme references and shit. This cheerful justification startled Lottie enough to leave her frozen in mid-sniffle. Mouth hanging open, Sarah nodded and continued. It is normal to be upset about things that frighten you. Okay, so far we've established that being scared is okay. Good. Only, I think it is also normal that you try and make yourself less frightened if you can. You wouldn't want to be afraid forever. Horses are very large, but they can also be kind and sweet. They're like apples and carrots and being petted, just like cats do. Lottie now seemed more confused than distraught. Perhaps today you should just go and meet the horses, then you can come back and play with Tybalt. What if Lavinia won't let me? Punch her in the face. We'll show her, like, street style, mate. Yeah, we'll gang up on her and, like, shank her and shit. Yeah. Brap, brap, brap. Then we shall not wait until she is... we shall wait until she is not looking. And while we wait, I will tell you about the horse who rescued a lost princess. She held out her hand, and after a moment, Lottie took it. What a true hero of the people. A new weekday activity is revealed. Sarah can use her free time to help the younger students with their schoolwork by choosing the tutoring option. Great. Is that knowledge? Yes. Lots of knowledge. What do we need? So we definitely need knowledge. And that's the only one in which... Oh, shit. Okay. We might take a few of these. And let's face it, it's never going to work. But we'll take a few of these. And then we'll tutor, I guess. Also, we need some sympathy knocked in there. So we'll take one of these off, I guess. What one's sympathy? Love hearts. That one. It's a 1 in 3. And we probably certainly won't do it. Come on. Okay, 1. Oh, fuck me. Alright. That didn't go as poorly as I thought it would be. So, 4 knowledge. Alright, it could have gone a bit better. 1 art stream, 1 gross, 1 sympathy. There we are, we did okay. When Sarah came down the stairs, she found Jessie holding a most curious item. It's about 8 inches long and 8 inches long and made of wax, mate. It resembled a long wooden spoon. Yeah, of course it did. Though somewhat thicker in the shaft. Ooh! And with a solid round end instead of a bowl. What are you doing with that? Jessie turned the object over in her hands. Oh, Sarah, isn't it interesting? It's from India. I know. I've heard there are societies for gentlemen and ladies, separate, of course. Of course. Where they all have wooden... Okay. Where they all have wooden clubs like these. Okay. I thought it was like, yeah, like they all have wooden clubs. And I was just like, doesn't seem very proper to say. Where they all have wooden clubs like these and swing them to strengthen their arms. Think someone's being optimistic. Or even throw them at each other. Isn't that quaint? Are you sure they throw them at each other? In India, the jugglers throw them up in the air and catch them again. Oh, I don't know. She looked at the solid wooden shape she held, then up to Miss Minchin's painted ceiling. Perhaps I ought not to try that. Where did you get it from? Lavinia gave it to me. For a moment, she cradled the club in her hands as if it were a doll. She wouldn't tell me anything about it, though. She told me to take it if I was so interested, and she would say nothing more. Jessie let the length dangle down from her hand and swung it gently back and forth. It doesn't seem like such hard work. Her eyes glinted for a moment with strange emotion. Imagine the blow if you struck a man with this. Oh, God. We're getting into weird territory. What? Why? Oh, it was a foolish thought, nothing more. I was thinking of chariots and queens. We are not soldiers and have no need to defend ourselves. There are brave men for that job. Like my papa. Yes, you are lucky to have such a father. Sarah smiled, pleased to accept my compliments for her beloved papa, and thought no more of it. We're just leaving that there, are we? Sure. I mean, do that again and I'll shank you, blood. Brap, brap, brap. Why are you still not here? God, it's hot in this. Sarah, would you like to go for a walk? It is a lovely day. Oh, so many other things I could be thinking of doing. Well, no, it is not a lovely day, but it is as close to as pleasant a day as we are likely to have in London, and nice girls always say it is lovely if they wish to go out. And I wish to go out with you, if that's all right. Ermengarde's fingers flicked and fidgeted at the side of her skirt. Sarah caught her hand and clasped it. Offer that again, mate, and you won't fucking have a hand left. Oh, it doesn't say that. We will make it a lovely day, then, because you and I will be part of it. Man, that seems like the sort of shit you'd read from the Get Motivated subreddit. You are lovely and everything else is beautiful. It's like, yeah. It was a pleasant day for London, clouded enough not to be overly warm, but without the blanket of fog or foul air that sometimes developed in the city streets. If we are fortunate, perhaps we... It looks like a complete shithole outside, but whatever. Perhaps we might see some dragoons on patrol in the park. You like to watch the soldiers? Her eyes warmed with remembrance. Their uniforms are so bright, the red and gold makes any man look handsome, even if he has whiskers like a walrus. And the horses have such high necks and beautiful glossy coats. They're full of energy. Well, I mean, I think that's more the whip that makes them full of energy, but okay. It makes me feel good somehow to see them, and to think that they and I are in the same world and owe our loyalty to the same queen. Yes, that is... We're not getting into politics. Yes, that is somehow how I felt sometimes when I saw Papa drill with his regiment that I'm proud to be part of the British Empire. Oh, how times have changed in the modern British thought. Look, I'm not saying that Britain doesn't have a high... If you're to generalise and stereotype it, I'm not saying that Britain doesn't have a big, thought of itself. But there was this book came out which was called Crap Towns, and it was the worst towns in England. There had to be crap towns too, because all of the people that wrote in complaining that their town or city didn't make it. Like, that's the sort of country England is, okay? Ermengarde's heart was lightened by the thought that one of her strange feelings was something that she shared with her idol. Encouraged, she continued. Sometimes I think that, well, that if I were a boy, I might like to be a soldier, then I could go on adventures in faraway places like your papa, India, or even Africa. You don't want to go to Africa. No, not in like 1820 or whatever this is said. If I were in the cavalry, I would have a fine red uniform and a shining helmet and a sword. I would get to ride all the time on the back charger. I wouldn't feel so big and awkward all the time. I mean... Alright, you saw her. I think it might be nice to protect people, to protect my country. Sarah was caught up in the vision. Perhaps you might even perform an act of great heroism to save lives at risk of your own and then be knighted by the hand of Queen Victoria. Ermengarde hid her face behind her hands. No, I don't think that. That would never happen. Don't tease. I'm not teasing you. I think you would make a very good hero. I've heard not all heroes wear capes, but come on. You are kind, and that is the most important trait that a hero needs. But do you really wish that you were a boy? Oh, I don't know, not really. Besides, if I were a boy and a soldier, my father would still be disappointed in me. How sad it is to forever feel that your father is not proud of you. Yeah, sure, why not? Sarah? Yes? The next time that I go to visit my family, will you come with me? I'd like to show you parts of England that aren't London. Maybe we could even go see my Aunt Eliza. The countryside is much nicer than even the parks here. We could go through the woods and look for berries and mushrooms and get caught by creepy men in trench coats. She reined herself in. You don't have to, only if you wanted. Sarah stopped in place. She turned to Ermengarde and placed her hands on her shoulders to make sure that her friend was looking. I would love to go to the countryside with you. She let go of Ermengarde and laughed, a gay, bright sound that made the other girls smile to hear it. To come all this way to England and then to see nothing but Miss Minchin's school, surely that would not be right. Yeah, I'm only going because I fucking feel I have to. Oh, Sarah, it will be lovely, truly lovely. We'll eat carrots because we're both looking like fucking rabbits. Not lovely because it is the polite thing to say. Only, do you have any old clothes? If we are to hunt in the woods or lie in the grass, you might not want to wear your best frocks. I am not sure. I have some dresses that are nicer than others, but nothing that is truly old. I could buy more clothes, but then they would be new. Mariette says that I am growing a great deal right now, though, and soon I will not fit into some of my frocks, so I suppose I will have old clothes then. Yeah, it's sound logic. You could borrow mine if you wanted. If you outgrow something, then it might not fit you at all, but if I outgrow something, then for you it might be fine. Thank you. She kissed Ermengarde on the cheek. Oh, God. Oh, God. Are we getting into my channel bound sort of territory? I feel we might be. You see, you are very kind. Ermengarde put her fingers against the soft curve of her cheek where Sarah's lips had touched and smiled. We're getting into sort of Japan sort of degrees of what's acceptable, aren't we? Once again, Miss Minchin prepared to lead her students back from the church to the safe confines of the seminary. However, it so happened that on this Sunday she caught sight of someone with whom she had business to conduct, so we all had to sit around. Great. Also, I don't know what it is, but compared to the other backgrounds, this doesn't look as good, if you know what I mean. Like, The other backgrounds have all seemed fine, and I'm looking at this one, and it's the way that it's, like, blurred over here for reasons unknown to me. And then there's sort of, like, I don't know, it just looks weird. Yeah, even over here's blurred, too. Keep together now, girls. Form a line and wait here. Lavinia, dear, I am counting on you to maintain order. I will only be a few minutes. Yes, Miss Minchin. As Miss Minchin walked away, Lavinia raised her chin with pride. She did not notice the conversations going on around her. That Lavinia, what a cunt. Look, Sarah, why is that tower so high? That is where they keep the church bells. They lift them up high so that they can be heard from far away. There is a man who lives up there, the tower keeper. It is his job to watch over the bells and keep them clean and ready to ring. He lives there. He never comes down. Never comes down. Or at least we think he still rings the bell. It hasn't rung for 30 years. Sarah did not know how the tower keeper spent his days, but she had heard of wise men in India who kept vigils and of Christian stylites who lived atop pillars. No, never. The priests bring him food and water so that he never has to look down. He tends the bells and he thinks about God. He never comes down. Really? Never comes down. Well, I'd like to go and see my family. No, you're not coming down. You agreed this. You wrote it and signed it in blood, okay? This is your fault. Imagine that. Because he's so high up in the sky, sometimes, if he is very lucky, okay, cool. There, she's just lying. The clouds part, and he can almost catch a glimpse of the land beyond. The shining city and the fields of lilies? At this point, Lavinia noticed the two of them standing with their necks craned back. Sarah Crew, whatever you are doing, you are gawking like foreigners. Sarah and Lottie lowered their heads, though not, in Lottie's case, without protest. We are looking up at heaven where our mamas are. They live in a city with golden streets and fields of lilies that everyone gathers. That everyone or and everyone? I presume that means and everyone, right? Oh, fields of lilies that everyone gathers. Yep, okay, they're all just weird. And they watch over us and whisper to us, and they visit the man in the bell tower, Sarah told me. You wicked thing, making up fairy stories about heaven. There are much more splendid stories in Revelation. How do you know mine are fairy stories? You're lying, you didn't get that story from the Bible. Read it for yourself, streets of gold and gates of pearl, and many more things besides. Perhaps the lilies are my own invention, and perhaps they aren't, but I can tell you will never find out whether they are or not if you're not kinder to people than you are now. She's not going to take that well. What? But Sarah, perhaps feeling a bit ashamed of her burst of unheavenly temper, turned her head and refused to respond. She was just going to leave that there. I guess if we have more points, it turns out to be okay, huh? Alright, we need a shitload of vigor and belief, right? So, vigor and belief. Knowledge as well, but that's not too. Maybe we'll put one in it. So we need knowledge, vigor, and just these two. Okay, cool. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. So that one is a good one. So writing diary, and then we need vigor, which is that one. Can't get much vigor, weirdly. I guess we go for 2 of these, and then we throw in a knowledge. I guess the only thing we have is, like, patience up at 10, and none of these are patience, are they? Like, what's the time? Patience. Well, I did say that maybe 1 point of artistry might not be too bad. She looks so much more fat here, it's weird. Okay, so we got a bunch of belief and a bunch of patience. Great. And then vigor, I think? We didn't get any vigor? Am I reading the options wrong? I must be. Yeah, I must have just been reading the options wrong or something. Sarah had been out in the town buying a new book, and as she rode into the comfortable carriage back into Miss Minchin's school, her mind was filling up with stories and histories. Quite unconsciously, she descended the carriage steps with the grace of a queen, looking much grounder than she might have imagined if she were the sort of girl to think in great detail about how she looked. As Sarah crossed the pavement, she caught sight of a dingy little finger. They do like that word. Down on the servants' area steps, a girl with a soot-smudged face peering up at her with wide eyes. It's gonna be... I hope we don't get recruited, that's all I'm going to say. Something in the eagerness and timidity of what smudgy face made Sarah look back, and when she looked, she smiled, because it was her way to smile at people. The eyes went even wider, as if afraid that she ought not to have been caught looking at a people of importance. The maid, if that what she was, turned and scurried back into the kitchen, vanishing as quickly as a reverse Jack-in-the-Box. Poor little forlorn thing, I wonder who she is. Well, she is what you call a disgusting poor person. Huh. Right, okay, so don't need any more vigor. Good. Do we have enough belief? No, but we could just get it back, because we're not at week 14, right? That's what the game's trying to tell us. Week 11. So we've got a fair few weeks of speaking to other people. Great. I guess we just go for Mariette. Yeah, sure. I guess we'll... And then get belief some other time, right? Woo! Mariette! Or Lottie. Sure, my forehead can take some more banging. Let's just pick Lottie, I guess.